The green flag waves as we hit our halfway point in the second set of finals this afternoon at Adria. Junior Rotax, final 2. We will have 3 more races after this one. Let's take you through the starting grid. So, apologies there on the screen. It's Kai Rielets from Bruno Malders on the front row of the grid. Leon Zelenko and Mathis Turlo on row 2. Farin Mega and Theo Blanc, row 3. Thomas Strauver and Ethan Jeffel, row 4. Aaron Krepsik and Max Knappen round at the top 10. David Outbidner and Alberto Kiko Fracassi, row 6. Then it is Daniel Sugar, Nick Gerhardt, Marius Rose, Danny Shields, Alexander Skelton, Austin Lee, Guy Albag, Ghazi Motleycar that round out the top 20, completing the 36 strong. I know for a fact that Raphael Renhofer is not racing this afternoon. He hasn't since his incident yesterday, but we will have Louis Comin, Frederick Zebis, Samuel Ifrid, Kasper Schomans, Magnus Pedersen, Federico Strazzari, Pietro Santesi, Chloe Chong, Piotr Borovic, Gianalo Belfiore, Giacomo Machoro, Nick Throbeck, Maxim Sachurko and Mikkel Pedersen. So it looks like we will have no Rafael Henhofer and no Vic Stevens on the grid for this race. So 11 minutes plus an additional lap to curtail their racing exploits this weekend. And at the moment, by my calculations, that Kai Rielets has now taken the championship lead through Tom Bracken and Tim Gerhardt not being here this weekend. I know that Tom Bracken is racing elsewhere, I think in Onnay-les-Bois in France. So very good luck to him this weekend for today. But it is going to be down to Rielets and Malders to control the pace. Now, if Malders gets one up on Rielets, he'll win the weekend, but Rielets will still have the championship lead. So, out of the final corner they come. Into the tram lines we go. Revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? Let's go racing. Lights are out. It's a good start. Rielets goes into turn 1 first, and Bruno Malders follows behind. Then you look at a 3-way battle between the likes of Theo Blanc. You also had in there Mathis Turlo and Croatia's Leon Zelenko as they all filter their way through in towards the turn 5 hairpin for the first time. And drivers battling for position. It's 3 abreast going into the hairpin. That's looking rather dicey there. Some drivers nearly running wide. However, they all make it safely through thus far. But there is the 2:55 I've just spotted, and that is Mikkel Pedersen, who's up a couple of positions ahead of the likes of Maxim Sachurko, who had a disastrous race in retiring lap 4 in the first final. Mikkel Pedersen was even out before we'd even gotten going, but the 2 JJ Racing drivers of Rielets and Malders leading the way. Theo Blanc in third, Mathis Turlo, Leon Zelenko ahead of Ethan Jeff Hall, Farin Mega in 7th ahead of Max Knappen, Aaron Krepsik, Nick Gerhardt, Alberto Kiko Fracassi. Then we got David Outletner, Thomas Strauven, Daniel Sugar, Austin Lee up from 18th to 15th. So into the last points-paying position goes the young American. Running under the German flag, as there you see Ethan Jeff Hall and Thomas Strauven literally nigh on line astern there. But now Rielets and Malders starting to try and get away from Theo Blanc, but Theo Blanc's not letting them get away easily. Theo Blanc is rather quick, but Rielets is the fastest driver out on the circuit, 53.472 after the completion of the first lap. We now complete lap 2, and that window has been opened between Rielets and Malders to just over 0.17 of a second. And Farin Mega rounds out the top 10. Changes have happened. Max Knappen ahead of is behind Aaron Krepsik. But now Nick Gerhardt has got past Farin Mega. David Outletner has got past Alberto Kiko Fracassi. Thomas Strauven up into 13th. Guy Elbag has got past Austin Lee for 15th position with 8 3/4 minutes still to go. These drivers are going to be pushing. And it is down to what happens here. So will Malders go for the gap? And if the gap does appear, I can bet you anything that he will go for it. And Rilitz will not be easy to persuade otherwise. So Bruno Mulders, if he sees that window of opportunity, he's got to take it. And you can see how close he is to Kai Rilitz. It's nip and tuck between the pair of them. Neither of them are giving any quarter whatsoever. And one of the biggest rules in racing, never take out your teammate. And the good thing is that the two at the front are doing exactly just that. So, more positional gains. Marius Roy's up to 16th, ahead of Alexander Skelton, who's up to 17th, with Austin Lee dropping to 18th, ahead of the UAE's Danny Shields, who's had a bit of a lesson here this weekend to learn. It's been a steep learning curve from the youngster from the United Arab Emirates, but still to be in a very good qualifying position after time qualifying, and then also showing some good credence and some potential. We could see further things from Danny Shields in the not too distant future. So Alexander Skelton making up another positional gain. Piotr Borowicz has got past Frederick Zebis for what is 30th on the road. Chloe Chong's made her way up to 25th position. Fine Mega's got back past Nick Gerhards. As we have more positional changes happening here, and that is between Max Knappen and Aaron Klepsik, who now is in the middle of two JJ Racing drivers. And Farin Mega goes up the inside of Klepsik. So both of them have got themselves up into now what is 7th and 8th position. Maxim Sachoko looks to be on the comeback trail in the number 238, currently running 28th position ahead of Gennaro Belfiore. Giacomo Machoro, the last of the runners out there, but with 6 minutes and 30 seconds still to go. All 34 drivers that started this race are still in this race, which is a good statistic so far. Thomas Strauven has got past David Outleitner. Danny Shields has got past Austin Lee for what is now 18th position. Marius Rosa ahead of Alberto Kiko Fracassi. And now Samuel Ifrid from Switzerland has got past Louis Comin from France, and that is for 23rd on the road. Pietro Santesi has managed to make up a position. And other drivers, Mikkel Pedersen, Maxim Sachoko, Piotr Borowicz and Frederick Zebis have all gotten ahead of Gennaro Belfiore, who drops down to around at the top 30. And there is Aaron Klepsik versus Nick Gerhards. Then you've got an absolute freight train of junior Rotaxes coming across the line very, very quickly indeed. And you can just see how quickly this can all concertina and then all get to ahead. And you've got the likes in there, Strauven out in there, Daniel Sugar up to 13th, Marius Rosa and Alberto Kiko Fracassi. And it's really interesting to see that you see drivers like Thomas Strauven, who's in that mix ahead behind Nick Gerhards. Was behind Nick Gerhards before David Outleitner caused me to lose my chain of thought there. Thank you very much, young man. But we've now had, it's a bit of a disastrous end for Ghazi Motlekar from Mozambique. His race is done and dusted on the completion of lap number 4. The youngster from Maputo has retired the kart, I'm afraid. So 4 minutes and 43 still to go. But as I was saying, you get these sort of trains starting to happen. You see drivers like Thomas Strauven, and this is a real observation here. Thomas is not the tallest driver in the paddock by any stretch of the imagination. But at the end of the day, he's a very, very good driver. Ran in Minimax last year, now made the junior... Well, he was running in juniors later on last year, but made the move up, and that is Daniel Sugar from Hungary, who has just retired from 13th on the spot. A mechanical issue for the KSB racing driver representing Hungary sees him out on lap number 7, I'm afraid. And that, again, will change things. Max Knappen, in the meantime, has got past Ethan Jeff Hall for what is 6th on the road. And now that has changed quite a lot. So, unfortunately, Ghazi Motlekar and Daniel Sugar are 2 retirements out of 34. More changes up and down the order because Marius Rose has lost out to Alberto Kiko Fracassi and Alexander Skelton. Austin Lee on the fringes once again of the top 15. The American running under the German license is in 16th position. Danny Shields, Kasper Schaumann, Sky Oldbag, Mikkel Pedersen. They've all made up positions, as well as Magnus Pedersen, who rounds out the top 21. Nick Trobeck, Samuel Ifrid, Chloe Chong in 24th, Louis Coman rounding out the top 25. So, and Federico Strazzari from Italy, just behind San Marino's Giacomo Machoro, rounds out the 32 that are still running in this race. Less than 3 minutes to go, and Kai Rillertz has put the hammer down ahead of Bruno Molders, who has just put in the fastest lap of the race by 11 thousandths of a second with just under 3 minutes to go. We're on lap number 10 of this race, and Rillertz is now starting to stretch his advantage and will take the championship lead after this race provisionally. So, Farin Mega ahead of Ethan Jeff Hall. Austin Lee drops back down a position behind Danny Shields. So they are all doing their level best. And Austin Lee was in the top 15 at some point in this race, but now just outside of it, has come back fighting after ranking 30th after intermediate classification from yesterday's 3 heats. Gennaro Belfiore gets ahead of Piotr Borowicz from Poland for what is 28th position, but it looks to be stagnating a little bit between the top 27 drivers as we head into the dying stages of this race. So Gazi Motlika retires on lap 4. Daniel Sugar, whilst running in the lower part of the top 15, retires on lap number 7. But everyone else still out there. Non-starters from Rafael Reinhofer from injury, and Vic Stevens. I did see that there was an exclusion for the 216 disqualification earlier on. So this means that now we have several drivers fighting, and there is Mathis Turlo, and he's fighting away, and this is for 3rd in this race, and up ahead is Theo Blin and Leon Zelenko. So this is the battle for P3. Behind them they've got the charging Farin Mega, who's about a second off of this battle at the moment, but could be getting closer. That gap looks to be less than a second by my eyesight there. So effectively what will happen is that Farin Mega will do his level best to close in on the 3 in front. And there is Max Knappen as well. 33 seconds still to go in this race, and Kai Rillertz has kept that advantage. It's about 0.6 of a second, and it'll be a double victory for the defending champion, as there is the move from Leon Zelenko on Theo Blin. And now Mathis Turlo mugs the pair of them going through turn 5. Oh, that was beautifully process there by Mathis Turlo. But then it's all kicked off behind because Theo Blin has got in front of Leon Zelenko, and now Farin Mega and Max Knappen enter they enter the ring, and all of a sudden it's a case of put up your dukes and start fighting away, because these 4 will be fighting. Timer has hit 0. We're now on to the final lap. Kai Rillertz is leading by just under 0.6, but the battle for 4th position still wages on. Mathis Turlo has got an opportunity. There goes Farin Mega up the inside of both Theo Blin and Leon Zelenko. And what's more, Max Knappen's got his way up into what is now that is going to be 5th position. Well, it's going to be 4th position, or 6th position, as there's Leon Zelenko. Knappen decides to throw his 2 cents into the ring, and Farin Mega's going around the outside. This is going right down to the death because Leon Zelenko's got in there. Theo Blin's reasserted his dominance in some part of this battle, but Farin Mega gets back up the inside of the French driver. But it is a double victory. Kai Rillertz, the defending champion, pats the right side on. It's a double victory. He wins here the weekend result here at Adria, and they are still battling all over the scraps under the table. Oh my goodness me. Dashes to the line. But there you see the sportsmanship between 2 teammates. Kai Rillertz wins the weekend ahead of Bruno Molders, Mathis Turlo, Leon Zelenko, Max Knappen, with Farin Mega rounding out the top 6 at the end of it all. And then we had the likes of, from 7th onwards, Aaron Klepsik, Thomas Strauven, Nick Gerhardt, Ethan Jeff Hall, Alberto Kiko Fracassi, Marius Rose, Alexander Skelton, David Ardedner, Danny Shields in 16th ahead of Mikkel Pedersen, Austin Lee, Kasper Schomans, Guy Olbag, Magnus Pedersen, Nick Throbeck, Samuel Ifrid, Chloe Chong and Frederick Zebis running at the top 25 ahead of Louis Comin, Maxime Sachurko, Gennaro Belfiore, Giacomo Maggioro, Pietro Santesi and Federico Strazzari running at the 31 that finished. However, unfortunately, two non-starters, Rafael Renhofer and Vic Stevens, with Ghazi Motlikar retiring on lap 4, Piotr Borowicz retiring on lap number 7, and it looks, Daniel Sugar retiring on lap 7, and it looks like the 2:45 of Piotr Borowicz didn't make it to the checkered flag.